Happy Friday.
Hey, Rick.
We made it another week. We are ready to rock and roll here. The
Yes,
Rick
we
Helps
are.
Real Estate Show. Just kind of give people an overview of what's going on in our Arizona market. And Carlton's happy about it right there. It's good to have us make it the show so we don't have to use our stunt doubles.
Yeah.
We're, got to keep
I
reminding
swear to
people
God,
we have
what
backup.
happens to a week? I mean, every time it seems like we're just you and I are on every other day. It's just the way weeks are flying lately.
It is. And remind the audience, thank you for tuning in. We have been doing this. This is our 4th year now.
Yeah, we got to be one of the longest running YouTube. I don't know. It's kind of interesting how long we've been doing it.
I had hair then. So we're going to get started. My headline says boring. Now that I hope you didn't take that to mean that you're boring, Pat, or that I'm boring, but it's this was a week where in the beginning of the week, we had the PPI index came in hotter, which is what's it called? The Producers Price Index.
Mm-hmm.
And the CPI, Consumer Price Index, came in better than expected. So the market kind of reacted to a big yawn, right?
Yeah, it was a much anticipated number. It's almost as though the market was, waiting for that big crescendo, which way rates are going to go. And we saw it just kind of move along. Everybody was building up a big, crescendo as far as what's going to happen with the rates. And you look back right now, I mean, this is the 3-month. I mean, this is the 3-month, 5.5-year coupon, right?
Yep.
Give me an example. Here we were back in February 20th, closed at 98.72, right? We're at 98.78. The last 3 months, as far as the 5.5% 30-year, the MBS mortgage-backed security market, the 5.5 coupon. So you see these little spurts, rates obviously going down here with prices going up. We got little spurts within all this pattern of activity. So within a 2 or 3 month period, you might be able to get a little bit better rate. But it's been kind of stuck in that, the rates were hitting high 7s, but they've softened up. And, low 7s. It's been a nice little, it's been back and forth based on what numbers come out next week or the following week. And we had obviously the Fed speak, a lot of Feds coming out and saying, well, doesn't seem like we're going to see too many rate hikes. And we'll see what we have and for what's on the table for the next couple months. And it's more of the same. It's more of the same.
Yeah, I read an article today from Mortgage Newsletter saying they're going to call it the bonds 11-day holiday. But there's literally nothing going on next week.
No.
So there's nothing that's going to move them unless somebody from the central bank says something. Nothing's going on. And that's kind of what we're seeing in our market. Now, this is all good stuff. So, volatility is the kiss of death in this business. And boy, you can see here with our Cromford Market Index, for people who don't know, this is a proprietary index that measures supply and demand in the Phoenix area. And we're at 110. We are officially a balanced market. It's not in total. And I'm going to show you on a heat map where that's not the case in some parts of the valley. So we're sitting here at 110. 110 is officially right there. If you're above 110, then it's considered a seller's market. If you're below it, it's a buyer's market. So places like Chandler and Gilbert are way above 110. Places like Buckeye and Maricopa, which are in the outlying areas, are clearly the advantage for sellers. All of that's driven by new construction. So you see that line there, Pat, it's pretty flat, just like my red line here. There we go. That's kind of flat. Then we look at our active listings. It's not going up. It's going up ever so slightly, like maybe 100 homes a week. Talking to Jason up in the Pacific Northwest this week, that's not the case. He says they're getting new listings like crazy. And this is our active listing map here I wanted to share with you, Pat. It's interesting when you look by price range. So let's take all the price ranges out of here. All the dots disappeared. Do we have anything in the 300 to 400,000 range? And I click on that, and that's where they are. So they're out there, but some of these are manufactured homes and condos. So what do we see in the $400,000 to $500,000 range? Where are they? And again, a major concentration up here in the Surprise area in Peoria, where there's a lot of new construction. And this map's not letting me go down to Maricopa. It does, but it's kind of cumbersome. And then if you get over 1 million, let's see, where's that number here? Over 1 million. Here we go. You can see it's pretty much concentrated right there in Phoenix and Scottsdale. A few pockets, Northeast Mesa, South Chandler, and parts of Gilbert are where the $1 million homes are. Now, here's the fun one. You've talked about this before. This is the heat map ratio.
I like this map.
In other words, is it a cold market or hot market? So if you go to Surprise, it's got a contract ratio of 43. It's considered balanced and warm. That's that green color. You go to Waddell, balanced and warm. You go to parts of Phoenix, it's considered hot. Scottsdale, balanced and warm. But look at this. Get down to Chandler. Frenzy. You list your house in Chandler, it's going to sell, my friends. Gilbert, hot. 92 contract ratio in this part of Gilbert. This part, hot and hot, hot. So Gilbert's doing well. So is Levine. And Fountain Hills, balanced. So it shows in Santan Valley, surprisingly, comes in as hot. I say surprisingly because a lot of building going on out there. So and the builds are they're flying off the shelf. So this is where the valley is in relationship to whether or not homes are moving or not. So I thought that was a very eye-opening one. The Stephanie goes, wonder what percentage of new builds versus resales. Presume new builds much higher of late. They are. I can dig up that number for you, Stephanie. I don't think I can find it right here, but there is a new report. It's not new. Have you heard of Tom Ruff, Pat? He writes for our local multiple listing service, and he comes out with a stat report once a month. So for our viewers here, whether you're live or in the restream, if you go to our website, which is right here, which is rickhelps.com, and in the top, you can download the recent market report right here. If you click on that tab, and when you click on that tab, it's going to take you to this report, and you can download this and have it. And I'm going to be putting it up there, the most recent one every month. When I get it, I'll share it with you. So it's showing our sold listings. Look at that. They've gone up. See that? New listings. They're kind of flat, which is what I've been seeing on my 7-day moving average right here. We spiked up a little bit, came back down. Now we're leveling off. So that coincides with what I'm seeing with Thomas Ruff. Active listings, kind of flat. Again, nothing earth-shattering there. Under contract pending, actually had a slight dip down. And then months of supply absorption rate. So you can get drunk on these numbers. New list pricing, 677. Median price, average price. I'm trying to see here, Stephanie, if it's actually got anything in relationship to new builds. And then there's commentary here that he adds. So again, go to my website, rickhelps.com, click on that. You can download that report and you can have it in your own little inbox there. And Quentin here, do you see affordability ever returning to our market? If so, how do you think it will play out? That's a national question. Are we ever going to see affordability play out anywhere? Affordability is a national problem. I know I get a lot of comments that saying, California is driving up our prices. Well, what's going on in Omaha, Nebraska? That's not California. So
Wisconsin.
Yeah, affordability is a problem. How we're going to shake out of it, I don't know. It'll have to show up as we get more homes for sale. It's both a shortage and a demographic problem. At this stage in baby boomers' lives, we're usually downsizing. That's a normal progression. Well, we're not now. usually get that smaller house. Well, you get a smaller house now, the payment's probably going to be more than the bigger house you're in, unless, as in a lot of cases, baby boomers have got close to paying off their homes. They don't want to pick up another mortgage. So they're just like, yeah, it's too much house, but I got room for the grandkids.
Well, another thing is too, I think, once again, I've said this in some different viewings, is that all this, what we're talking about, is still COVID related in 2020. We're still stuck into the, the supply demand, the demographics have changed, how people live, where they live has changed. Everything's changed since 2020. And it just basically, we're kind of like the crash of 08, 09. It took us 4 or 5 years to get out of that situation. I believe it's 4 or 5 years, 2000, maybe next year, things start to shake out. They have a supply demand. They can obviously loosen up regulations. It's a combination of a lot of things. Supply, increasing supply, loosening up regulations on building supplies, the tariffs on Canadian, wood, the lumber, help loosening up there. The interest
Well,
rates.
if you look at the outlying areas,
inflation too. Inflation. The bottom line is, so, inflation has gone up for the average. As I've said, we've talked about this, that the average family of 4 or 5 people, kids and the mom and dad, their costs of living have gone up $1,600 plus a month just in living. That all bodes into the payment of being able to buy a house. And I think the affordability issue it's multifaceted. It's just not one thing. I think interest rates would have a big dramatic effect. Like, that's why you see such interest rate sensitivity when rates do go down. People can. I just had a gentleman that I was working with, quoted high sixes on a jumbo loan. No, it wasn't jumbo. It was about $700,000 loan, 6 7/8. Well, then pulled it up today, the same lender, actually yesterday, and we were looking at around 6 1/4. It was a $400 a month difference. I mean, we're talking a big payment, but that was still a $400 a month difference in just a couple of days.
Well, if you look at the outlying areas, when we're talking about supply and demand, we're saying, why is it a buyer's market, and why are prices not going up out in those areas? Simple. They're building more homes. Why are prices going up in Phoenix, Chandler, and Gilbert? They're not building more homes. They don't have room.
No.
So that's your best local example, supply and demand. So when will affordability happen? Well, yeah, it could happen if there's really high unemployment. If we have economic crunch, but high unemployment and high interest rates normally don't end up hand in hand. So if we end up with high unemployment, you can expect the central bank to pull back again. That's usually when they do it. They always lower rates during a recession. And a recession also doesn't usually entail high unemployment. But affordability can happen with multiple different ways, and depends on the country too, or the state. A state can have an industry that's just fallen off the face of the earth, and like California did when the defense industry was dying out there, and Arizona used to go up and down like crazy. Well, we didn't have too much job diversity out here. We used to just be tourism,
golf,
agriculture, golf, and healthcare. Well, now our manufacturing base has grown exponentially, so that helps cushion us from these ups and downs. Look at Vegas. Okay, Vegas goes up and down way more than Arizona. Why? You need walking around money to go to Vegas. So if the rest of the economy is having a tough time, people are going to save their money. They're not going to Vegas. So Vegas tends to run up and down about a year to 18-month lag to us. So if everything goes really south now, Vegas is cut off. Nobody's going to Vegas. I'm going to save my money, not going to shows, not going to gamble. And then once things get better, now I've got to save my money to go to Vegas. That takes me about another year and a half.
Yep.
So they're a one horse. What do they call it?
One trick pony.
One trick pony. That's what I got. Thank you. Yes, that I need you to help me with that. And not only did it help me, but I got to say that the audience is glad you did that. So I think if I look out of Arizona, all I can do is say, well, what are the numbers looking like today in all of those measurements? Inventory is not going up. Unemployment's not going up. And Quentin's asking, not saying there'll be a crash, but did you see the 2008 crash coming, or was it a surprise to you? Saw it coming with the headlights right in front of me, and I'll tell you why.
And I'll be honest with you. I mean, not that I totally saw it coming, but in September of 05, September of 05, I saw two signs. I saw, and I remember literally making the phone calls. My friend, there was one program. I think I've stated this before. There was a non-owner. There was a program that one of the lenders came out with. Basically, you had to have just a 600 FICO score. You could buy an investment property, non-owner occupied property, stated income with a 600 FICO score, 100%.
Yeah.
No money to buy an investment property. That was the other, and then the other one was I had this office in this up in the Bank of America building. Every Saturday, they had these fix and flips, seminars, and the place was packed. And I called my friend. I said, we hit the top of the market. And I was golfing. The third thing is I was golfing with a buddy of mine who was one of the higher. He was a sales manager with one of the subprime lenders. And he said, we were golfing in July. He said the stock was at 48. I remember it was 48. He goes, in less than 12 months, our stock is going to be worthless. This market's going to crash. It's going to crash hard. And in March of 07, I got cut off. I had one lender. I had a deal that I had to place with. It was three borrowers on the same loan, boyfriend, girlfriend, and then brother of the girlfriend. They all had like 580 FICO scores. They were doing 100% financing. That Friday afternoon, I called one lender. They said, nope, we're shutting that program down. Nope, we're shutting that program down. I called like 20, 25 lenders, and they said, we're shutting that program down. We're not getting any funding. I was sitting in the office wondering, something's going on. Something's going on big time. And I called one last lender about 4:45. He said, get me the file by Monday morning. I've got to have the file in my office by 8 o'clock Monday morning, or else you're not going to do this loan program. And I just saw it going down very quick. And I had a buddy of mine call me in the middle of 2007. He said, well, Lawrence, you, the economist from the NAR, said, we're going to be out of this in about a year. And I told him, I go, Jonas, it's going to take 3 to 5 years to get out of this. And it was about 3 to 4 years before we got out of that. He called me the following year and he said, man, you were spot on. He's still, to this day, says,
on top of the bad loan products, I was just simply looking at the number of homes we were building in 2006 versus the number of people that were moving here. It was so lopsided. It was just incredibly lopsided. And my dad was a broker in Washington State. And I called him, I go, Dad, this doesn't make sense. I mean, we don't have 200,000 people a month moving here, but they're building 40,000 homes are hitting the market every month. Yeah. And I said, something's going to break. Now, I sold my house, Quentin, in 2006. I got out. And can you not see it coming? Well, let's think about this. Houses crashed. The market crashed in 2008, right? Because of two things. One, the loan products were absolute crap.
Oh, they were terrible.
So when people had the loan, your loan reset to a higher payment. There's nobody out there. I'm not going to say nobody. There's hardly anybody out there now.
Probably about 3 to 4% of the market.
Yeah, they're going to wake up and go, oh my God, my payment's higher. But then don't ignore this. These are extremes. And I'm going to blow this up here. See this number right here? This is October 2007. Look at the number of listings we had. I just showed you we have 15,000 now on Cromford. We're actually sitting about 17,008 the way I track it off the MLS. 58,000 listings. We hadn't crashed yet. There's your canary in the coal mine right there. Normal is 26,000. So when I say I follow inventory, I'll again go back to the number here of active listings and say it ain't happening if we're staying flat.
No.
This is going to have to go parabolic. It's going to have to go up here. It's going to have to go up all the way up to here.
Yeah.
For us to see a huge, huge effect in prices. Will that happen? Could.
Yeah, I mean, But it's I
Not gonna
guarantee
happen that fast.
from a lending standpoint, though, I don't see it from a lending standpoint because people get frustrated with the fact that when I do a loan, they want every I, every T crossed, every I dotted, every T crossed, and that did not happen. I saw it. I mean, I literally lived it, breathed it for the last 25 years. In 07, 08, 09, I had secretaries in 05 call me and say, hey, I want to buy this $450,000 home. I only make $3,000 a month, but just put my state income at $7,000 or $8,000. I refused more than a handful of loans because I did not feel good writing a loan for somebody that basically could not afford it.
No.
I said, I could write your income, whatever you want on the sheet. Can you still afford it? And it's like, no. I had one lady. I just remember one night, 7:30 at night, I had her detail everything, and she was making $3,000, and her debts would have been $2,700. I said, you can't afford this.
Well, yeah, I had a sales manager come into my office when I was, my previous career, and he goes, hey, Rick, I'm buying this condo. I want you to look at this. What do you think? And he puts on the numbers, and I go, no. I said, I'm not a realtor, but I'm just going to tell you that you're signing up for failure. He goes, why? And I go, well, look how much the loan payment's going to be in 2 years. I mean, yeah, you're getting this teaser rate right now, but in 2 years, can you afford this? Oh, well, it'll be worth more than I can sell it. And I go, maybe, but I don't think so. I said, I think prices are headed down because of the inventory that we have. This payment was like $1,600 a month, which in 2006 was pretty extreme, especially for a condo. And it was going to go to $2,900. Yeah. Just like that, 2 years. The feeling was because they were being lied to, saying, well, you sell it. Don't worry about it. If you can't refinance it, I mean, holy cow, you just moved in now and it's worth $30,000 more than it was 2 months ago. And so everybody bought into that, signed up, and wheels fell off the way. What do you mean I can't sell it? Oh, why? Well, because there's too many for sale now.
Just because we had the crash back in 07, 08, like you said, I just keep beating the drum till I'll blue in the face that the dynamics are solely different. The supply, demand,
that was
the demographics. The demographics have changed. Are we going to we could see softening, certainly, but the crash,
Well, this time is different. You'll see it coming if there's another rate increase or unemployment increasing each month. If you could see softening in pricing. I just showed you on the increase in listings. If you're going to see a real downward pressure, that's going to have to go up. But hey, we have a guest here that just popped in. I see her down on the bottom, my illustrious broker. Jessica, wow. You're out in the wind. What's going on?
I know. I ended up stopping by to check out a new build. And it's windier than I thought it was. It doesn't look so windy when you're driving around all day long. But now that I'm standing out on the lot, I went, I don't know if I can pull this off. The superstitions are freaking amazing out here.
Oh yeah, the views out. You're out in far East Valley, so yeah. Hey Richie, I see you in the green room. We'll pull you up in a couple minutes here. Thank you. So what's going on out there? Are you in a new build community?
Yeah, I'm in a new build community. I had a buyer that said, hey, what's all this hubbub about this East Valley building? And so we went out 2 weekends ago, Mother's Day weekend. Oh, last weekend. And I'm just doing an update for them, seeing what the incentives and all that are doing after the holiday weekend. So they're still pushing those new builds are still pushing the buy downs. And it's not so much more affordable right now. $399 start prices. Decent. Haven't seen those in a long time.
Well, and so are they selling?
You know what? The lot that she wanted is still available, but it's got the views, and all of the ones that were listed under that are gone. So it's been 7 days. So they had three lots with builds that are going to be done for the end of May closings. And they only have one left, and it's because it's above 400,000.
So where are you at, Jessica? You're
East Mesa, borderline Mesa and Pinal County.
You buy Apache Junction or like the
Yeah.
Superstition Mountains?
Yep. It's off of Meridian.
Okay, way
So
east.
we have
way
our
east
own
of-
boots on the ground person now.
Yeah.
We don't need that other guy.
So rates didn't do what everybody in the world was expecting on Wednesday either. Is that what I just heard?
That's
Yep.
right. Yep.
The
Hey,
old,
Jessica, I'm gonna pull in Richie here. Do you mind if I?
No,
Can you
not at all.
stick around? Okay. Richie,
Hey.
welcome.
Howdy.
You sent me a private message and said I'm now a hit at all the cocktail parties. So
Oh yeah,
I appreciate
I watch you guys all the time.
that's great. So when you're at a party and somebody says, "Hey, how's the market?" or I hear about the market, you quickly run to that part of the room, right? So
I'll pull up one of your videos.
so where are you at, Richie? What
I'm in
part
East
of town?
Mesa, Power McDowell.
Okay.
Yep. Just watching the market, kind of saving money, renting a room right now until I can afford to buy a house, basically.
Well, cool. It's fun to have you. You're actually the first person that's dropped in like this for us. So I think that's great. I'm glad you clicked on the link. So
Thanks for having me.
It's fun.
Is there-
And go ahead, Pat.
Is there anything that you're interested, or just talking wise, topic wise, being a potential buyer, would you want us to hit on eventually, or down the road, or I mean, what do you kind of what's your question marks?
Well, I've had questions about if you can get a mortgage loan if you haven't filed your taxes, and I don't know the answer.
The fast answer is no.
Okay.
So, I mean, there's different programs out there, but they're not non-qualified. You call them non-QM, non-qualified mortgages. They're not Fannie Mae, Freddie Mac. There's some stated income loans out there. There's one, but the rates are higher. It's not going to be a pretty rate. You're looking probably in the 9s, 8.5, 9s.
It's up there.
Yeah, it's going to make you pay. There's niche programs out there, but the best thing is are you self-employed or?
No, I have half and half. I have 2 jobs now: clean pools and work in a factory.
Cool. We can talk offline too if you have any questions, on that.
Yeah, appreciate it.
We got a question here too. It says, what percentage of new builds have a pool? It looks like a lot of new builds don't have a pool. They don't have a pool because they usually have incentives from the pool company for you to choose your own pool. Like you still see the pool packages out there, Jessica?
No, in fact, most builders, back in 2000, before the crash, used to, and lending used to allow it. But I would say, unless if it's custom or semi-custom, I don't think I've seen it in the last 10 years. Not that it's not out there.
That's where I think resales have. I mean, just my 2 cents. That's where I think resales have a bigger advantage over new builds. Is if somebody wants a pool, because quite frankly, you and Rick both know that when a house gets appraised, on a resale, the value of a pool is not that dramatic. Correct me if I'm wrong.
It isn't. I mean, but it depends. I mean, it's having a pool. So let's say you got a house that's $450,000. Okay, one has a pool, one doesn't. It only adds value to you personally if you're looking for a pool. Does it add any value appraisal wise? No.
Mm-mm.
Well, that's what I mean. That's why I'm saying you're not getting from an appraisal. But if you were out to get a new build and go out and get a new pool, that new pool is going to cost you $50,000 to $60,000, $70,000. Correct me if I'm wrong.
Minimum.
So I mean that's what I'm saying. If you're really dead, I mean, does that make sense? If you're looking for a pool, if you're dead set, a resale is almost your really intrinsic value there. If you're set on a pool.
I mean that's the way to do it. Get resale. Pool's already built. It's already been maintained. You get it inspected. You're in good shape. It's kind of it's almost now some solar adds value if it's owned, but not if it's leased.
Yeah.
Solar is very complicated math.
Yep.
But I think apples to apples, if you're looking at the pure value and appraisal process, no, it doesn't really add anything. Adventure here says, personally, I wouldn't want a pool and I wish I could filter houses with no pools. You can be able to do that. Yeah.
Yeah.
In a search, right?
Yeah. At least it does on our side, so we can look into that to make sure
Yeah.
you guys
Yeah.
have
On our site, you can search properties and you can go and you can, I'm pulling it up here now, and you can pull down a filter and say, no pool. So, Lou here says, Pat's right. Most people want a house with a pool because it costs 50 grand. I'm glad it didn't cost that much when I had one put in.
I'm 1 for 1 today.
Yeah, that's it. There's probably I can turn on the applause line again. So,
Yikes.
so, yeah. But, so, hey, Richie, let me ask you, do you have a time frame in mind when you're looking at this market? You're saying, are you waiting for something to adjust, or is it just a matter of saving more money, or you think I'm just going to be comfortable renting, the market be damned?
It's kind of both. If I can save up enough money in a fast enough time to put a decent down on the house where my payment is $2,500 or less, then I'm okay with making a purchase. But right now, I guess you could say I'm just waiting to see what the election does. I'm not sure how much that matters, but if it helps, then I'll and the prices are right in the future, then I'll be able to pull the trigger. But I'm actually the houses I'm looking at are in Apache Junction on the 1.2 acre lots, because I'd like to get some land on this next purchase I make. So that's the most important feature.
Well, they've heard me say this here before. The election doesn't matter.
Okay.
It actually makes a hair stand up in the back of my neck.
Does it?
Which is the only place I have hair now, but
Yeah.
it doesn't matter. It's never swayed the general direction of housing.
Okay.
If housing was going up and there's election, it's still going up. If it was going down, you never see a chart go, we have a new president. But the only thing it changes is generally the stock market goes up immediately after the election, not because they're happy with either party. They're just damn glad it's over.
Yeah. That's good to know.
Quentin says, so you're not alone. Everybody wants the same thing and affordability. Look, I got 3 boys. Oldest is 38, youngest 31. They can't afford a house.
Yeah.
So I'm not liking this market either, folks. Can I change it? No. Does that mean it's a bad market? Well, it's a bad market for my boys. But there are people that can afford it that are still buying. Like when we look at that heat map, it's still doing quite well. And Jessica's out there seeing in the new build that they're flying off the shelf. And I think out where she's at is where things are really going to start flying. There's so much development that's coming out there, not just houses, but data centers, warehouses, distribution facilities, manufacturing, and then the views of those superstitions behind you. But they have to show that they have a 100-year supply of water out there.
Mm.
And so if they don't, they're not going to get the permits. But that was one of the biggest land auctions we had, was out there by Apache Junction. Now, Apache Junction has kind of 2 different Apache Junctions. Apache Junction up by Main Street, and then there's out in the desert with the views and the Lost Dutchman State Park, that Apache Junction, the nice part. So, but so Adventure, do go in on the website, rickhelps.com. And if you have problems filtering that you don't want to pool, let me know. I can give you a hand. So, well, Richie, thanks for jumping in here and being the first one to join us. We're going to let you go here. We'll hang on a couple more minutes. But
if you got any questions, let me know. If you got any, tighten up keep an eye on just quick tips. Make sure your credit's tightened up, credit cards, stuff like that. And, a lot of people don't know what they can get sources from down payment too. There's your retirement plan. You can get gifted funds from relatives, a relative, there's certain other options. So, if you got any questions, feel free to reach out to me.
Well, thanks guys. Appreciate it.
Hey, thanks for dropping in, Richie. See ya.
Thanks.
Bye.
All right. Well, that was fun. So Jessica, you're out there and you're seeing that there's actually some homes in the 300 range and they're flying off the shelf. What do you recommend people? I mean, you're out there kind of previewing it right now. The commute is pretty long. So if you're working in Phoenix, you probably don't want to buy out there, right?
Right. It's to each buyer, beware, because the commute it's going to add an extra 10. Well, do you remember Santan Valley, when Santan Valley in 2003, 2004, and it was the up and most coming latest and greatest. And then homes sold for, at 150, 170, and then the market tanked and they were down to $50,000 and $60,000 a door. And that commute, although it's getting better with the freeways and stuff that are, so a lot of this stuff, I think that's what I am impressed with, the freeways and the development on the highways that's been done through the cities, because it's opened up the traffic into Santan Valley. So majority of the construction that's appealing right now is off of all of those roads going into Santan Valley. So I believe, over the next few years, it's definitely more affordable out here. You're still 15, 20 minutes away from, 25, 30 minutes away from the airport, right?
Yeah, at least. Yeah. Santan was like one lane in, one lane out. It was, if people wanted to go show a house in Santan, like, you sure you want to look down there?
I still say that.
That's
Let's try
Maricopa.
it during rush hour before you sign on the line.
Well, that's great advice. I mean, no matter where you're buying, go out there at night, look at it. Drive out there during rush hour, drive in the morning commute if you can do it, or have somebody do it for you.
Yeah.
That's what the inspection period's for. It's not just about looking at the frame, look at the roof and everything. You got to inspect the whole area. And you can say, you know what, I really don't like it out here. I'm going to cancel the contract, and, do that before you pay for an appraisal. And we have a comment here. What are your thoughts about the recent home inspection drama regarding new home builders? Have you heard anything? No, I haven't. There's always going to be a builder here and there that tries to draw a line in the sand that says, they're not going to allow inspectors to come in because of liability. But our friend Dylan, who inspects new builds, he said the last time I interviewed him, he has not run into a problem. He likes to do pre-drywall inspections so that he can see the wiring and the plumbing and all of the inside stuff before the home's built. And so he hasn't had a problem. He's run into, like anything, one or two that, the drywall is not going up for 2 weeks. And he goes out there in a week and it's done. And the YouTube Shorts inspector guy, yes, Quentin, you all know Dylan. He's funny. Did you see the one the other day about the rattlesnake? It wasn't his, but there was a guy walking out the front door, a realtor, and he goes, wow, this is a fancy doorbell. And there's a rattlesnake wrapped around the hose pip. Yuck. Well, Jessica, thanks for jumping in. And
thanks for having me.
You've got a community you set up north too that you want to show us later.
I do. Yes. Do you want to know the name of it, or should we surprise
you? No, tell us the name.
Terra Vita. One of our followers had kind of expressed interest in it, so I popped in there and did 2 or 3 different tours last week, and I'm in love. I want to share it with the world. I would never move, from the East Valley, but I definitely think that people should know about it.
Well, let's go up there with the cameras and let's just make a very specific video just about that neighborhood. So I think that'll be fun. So,
yeah.
All right. Well, you have a
next week.
week.
A quick announcement too, Rick. We're going to have that just to tell people that we're going to have this program. This gentleman from Knock. It's a program.
Yes.
I'm going to have the rep join us next Friday to talk about the program. In a nutshell, it allows you to buy a house. If you own a house that's got equity and you want to buy another house, it allows you to buy that new house without having a contingency on the old house. It gives you up to 6 months to sell your old house. There's a fee involved, but there's a lot of upside to this program that I'm going to have the rep join us probably next Friday. It'll loosen up some people that are like, they feel like they're stuck, that I have to sell my house before I buy a new house. It's got some nice little features to it that if people want to talk up there, we can talk about next week with him.
Yeah, that'll be nice because I know I have some questions. So is it a bridge loan?
It's technically a bridge loan, but there's a featured, basically a bridge loan in a nutshell, but you don't have to make the payment on your old house. Like I said, we'll go into it next week, have Brandon go over it for about 10 minutes when he's got time next Friday.
Yeah, that'll be fun. I'm looking forward to that. Oh, and I also want to ask the people too, and please put your comments in the comment section if especially on the replay, we do this live every Friday at 3 o'clock, and we're kicking around. Is that really the best time for you? Is it, or is Friday at 3 a bad time? Because as we get closer to summer, people are going to start leaving town on Fridays, going to, Flagstaff or Prescott or the White Mountains, and probably going to be on the road at 3 o'clock. So I'm thinking, is it Thursday at 5 o'clock a better time? Thursday at 6, Wednesday, doing it once a week? Because maybe Friday at 3 might not be optimal for the audience. So let me know in the comments section of the video, and we'll take a look at it and see if we're going to make a change or not. So, because I'm just wired for Friday at 3 o'clock. It's like my big event for the week. And then, so if we change it, I'll go through withdrawals and then not to mention Pat will probably just forget.
Happy hour early.
Yeah. So, but it'll be fun. We'll make it work no matter what. Well, everybody, thank you and have a great Friday and take on the rest of the weekend. Be safe out there. Take care.
See you guys.